So thank you very much,
You have the floor.
Mr.
Okay.
Chairman. So my presentation is entitled MIMO Systems and Applications. So first I will perform an introduction. I will characterize the different types of MIMO systems. Then I will address some applications of the MIMO system. And I will characterize and show, propose and show the performance of a MIMO system. In fact, MIMO system utilized for directivity purposes. So this is mainly used for security reasons. And then the conclusions. So there are different types of MIMO from the broad sense. We have a SISO, which is a single input, single output. We have a SIMO, single transmit antennas and multiple receive antennas. We have a MISO, which is multiple transmit antennas and a single receive antenna. You have the MIMO system. MIMO system stands for multiple transmit and multiple receive antennas. So the first type of MIMO system is entitled space-time block coding, and the aim is to improve the performance. We have different types of MIMO systems with different purposes. The first that we will address is entitled space-time coding. Was initially proposed by Alamuti, and is a block coding. Why is it a block coding? It's a block coding because we have a group of symbols, and in this case we have two transmit antennas. It's considered a MISO system. Why a MISO system? Because we have multiple transmit antennas and a single receive antenna. Okay, and we encode the symbols in the different transmit antennas. Okay, by using receive diversity, this space-time block coding becomes a MIMO system. What is the block coding performed by space-time coding? We have, in this case, since we have two transmit antennas, we take groups of two symbols, and we send the first symbol to the first transmit antenna, and the minus complex conjugate of the second symbol to the second transmit antenna in the first time slot. In the second time slot, we reverse the constellation. So we send the second symbol into the first transmit antenna and the complex conjugate of the first symbol into the second transmit antenna. And this is the space-time block coding initially proposed by Alamuti. As you can see, this is a MISO system. We have two transmit antennas in this case and a single receive antenna. The post-processing, so there is a decoding scheme performed at the receiver side, and this is the post-processing. This is the post-processing that needs to be performed. I'm not going through the equations and through the details. A different type of MIMO system is entitled multi-layer transmission. So why the space-time block coding aims to improve the performance? The multi-layer transmission aims to increase the throughput. So we increase the throughput. The multiplicity of the increase corresponds to the number of transmit antennas. So this is entitled multi-layer because we have a different layer of throughput of bit rate transmitted by different transmit antennas. And the receiver is able to steer each one of the throughputs of the data rates. It steers to each one of the transmit antennas. Okay. To be possible, we need to have a number of receive antennas equal to or higher than the number of transmit antennas. Okay, this is the scheme. This is the most common MIMO system that is currently being employed. This is a single user MIMO system, and the aim is not to improve the performance, but to increase the throughput. Now this is used, for example, in LTE, long-term evolution. Okay, this is very common. This is the processing, and how do we steer the receive antennas into each one of the layers transmitted by each one of the transmit antennas? This is performed using different algorithms. The most common detector that used at the receiver side is the VBLAST. How is it performed? We simply implement MMSE or zero forcing algorithm into this is entitled the nulling algorithm. We implement the zero forcing or the MMSE to each one of the transmit antennas. And then in the second stage, we regenerate the signal by cancelling the first detected signal from the remaining signal, and then we perform the same algorithm into the second transmit antenna and into the third, and so on. So this is the multi-layer transmission. A different MIMO system that is widely utilized is space division multiplexers. What is space division multiplexers? Space division multiplexers, we have different users sharing the spectrum. This is normally utilized in the uplink. As we can see, in this case, we have N mobile stations, and we have a base station with at least MN receive antennas. So the base station performs the nulling algorithm as before for the spatial multiplexing. So as this is a spatial multiplexing, and exactly the algorithm is the same as before for the multi-layer transmission. So the principle is exactly the same. This is entitled as before spatial multiplexing. And the detector that is carried out by the base station is the V-blast detector. Then the widely known beamforming, we maximize the signal to noise plus interference ratio by transmitting into the desired signal while putting some nulls from the beamforming. In case we have the desired user equipment is this one, the base station steers the maximum into the desired station while minimizing the beam into the interference, while minimizing the interference into the non-desired user. Now, multi-user MIMO. The previous MIMO systems are entitled single-user MIMO. The multi-user MIMO has a different approach. While in SDMA, while the SDMA is normally utilized in the uplink, where we have the different mobile stations sharing the spectrum, and the receiver, the base station is the receiver, and steers the signals into the different mobile stations. In case we want to send different layers of throughputs into a certain mobile station, we can, and transmitting different signals into different users, we can implement a multi-user MIMO system. How does it work? So we just perform pre-coding. We perform a kind of pre-processing at the transmitter side, at the base station, implementing a nulling algorithm as a pre-coding. And in this case, we don't need to implement the nulling algorithm at the mobile station, because the mobile station normally has a single or a reduced number of receive antennas. So the mobile station is not able to perform the nulling algorithm, because the nulling algorithm requires that the number of receive antennas is equal to or higher than the number of transmit antennas. So this cannot be performed. How do we perform this? By performing a pre-processing at the transmitter side. This way we can send multiple layers of data rates of throughputs into different mobile stations. Okay, this is entitled multi-user MIMO system. The problem of this multi-user MIMO system is that the channel state information is normally required at the transmitter side. So there is normally need to have a feedback link from the receiver into the transmitter to send the channel state information. And there are some errors that can occur. So it can degrade the performance. This is a bottleneck of the multi-user MIMO system. The multi-user MIMO system has been incorporated in LTE as well, using the 8x8 transmit and 8 receive antennas. So LTE utilizes already the multi-user MIMO system. Now, the coordinated multi-point transmission can be viewed. What is coordinated multi-point transmission? We have a mobile station that establishes communications with two different base stations. Okay, this is entitled. This is generically entitled base station cooperation. Can be used in the uplink or in the downlink. In the uplink, so the two mobile stations receive signals and combine them. In the downlink, the two base stations transmit signals, and the mobile station combines the signals from the two base stations. So this is base station cooperation. The coordinated multi-point transmission is a specific, is advanced type of base station cooperation, where we can have, for example, in case we have, we can use the different antennas of the different base stations as a MIMO system. In this case, in this example, let's suppose that base station 1 has 3 transmit antennas and base station 2 has 3 transmit antennas. This can be viewed as a MIMO with 6 transmit antennas. Okay, and we can implement the different processings normally utilized for the multi-user MIMO system. So the principle is exactly the same. The problem is that also we need to have the channel state information at the base station side. Well, in fact, we can use the coordinated multi-point transmission as a multi-user MIMO that requires pre-processing, but a simpler receiver. But we can also use as a single user MIMO. For example, when the aim is to improve the performance, we use the space-time block coding. When the aim is to increase the throughput, we use the multi-layer transmission. Why do we use base station cooperation? Because at the center of the cell, at the edge of the cell, we have intercell interference, or we have path losses. So this is a way to mitigate these impairments, okay? This is widely used currently. Or we can also use some type of scheduling algorithm to coordinate the transmission between the two base stations. Multi-op relay. Multi-op relay is also utilized in LTE, long-term evolution, and is being described for 4G. So multi-op relay aims also to improve the performance at the cell edge. Is exactly the same. So the advantage of this is that a mobile station that is here, this is a relay station, the number of relay stations. So by using this, we can, for example, reduce the power transmitted by the base station, then minimizing the interference, the intercell interference with the adjacent cells. This is one advantage. And another advantage is that user equipment that is placed in this location as a more homogeneous service. Okay, so it also mitigates the path loss, it mitigates the intercell interference. So we will address a MISO system, so multi-transmit and a single receive antenna, utilized for security purposes. Okay, this is related to a paper which aims to transmitters with directivity introduced at the information level, where the transmitted constellation is only optimized in the desired direction, can be used for security purposes. So what we do is we have a number of transmit antennas, and instead of transmitting a 64 QAM symbol, we combine a 64 QAM symbol in a number of BPSK symbols. And each one of these BPSK symbols is sent in a different transmit antenna. Okay? By combining and by using a more advanced processing that I will explain in the following, we can send the desired signal towards a specific user, while the other users are unable to decode the constellation, to decode the signal. This is an advantage that can be utilized for security reasons. A problem that normally occurs with a high order modulation is that power efficiency. So normally the power efficiency, the power amplifiers degrade or degrade with higher order modulations. By combining or by transforming a higher order modulation into a lower order modulations, we are decreasing the requirements from the power amplifiers. Okay, this is another advantage of using this proposed scheme. Moreover, it was already addressed today that OFDM is a technology, orthogonal frequency division multiplexing, is a transmitting technology that is widely utilized in cellular communications, namely in LTE and in 4G. The advantage is that it is very efficient from the spectral efficiency, and it performs very well. It's very good to combat the fading effects. This is why it is widely used. Nevertheless, there is a problem associated to OFDM signals. And what is the problem? The problem is that an OFDM signal is composed by a number of subcarriers. And for example, 128 subcarriers that are orthogonal one to each other. And these subcarriers are added instantaneously. They are added. Okay, as more carriers we have, as higher is the dynamic range of the signal that is transmitted. So this is an advantage. So the peak to average power ratio of OFDM signals becomes higher for increased number of subcarriers, which becomes very problematic in case of mobile stations. So in downlink is not problematic because the base station has enough power or has enough dynamic range to face these requirements. Nevertheless, the mobile station is not able to have a high number of subcarriers. How can we mitigate this problem? We mitigate this problem by utilizing a transmission scheme entitled single carrier with frequency domain equalization. So SCFDE presents the advantages of OFDM while mitigating the disadvantages. So this is as the OFDM is a frequency domain equalization. As OFDM performs frequency domain equalization, but it is also a block transmission technique, but it mitigates the interferences, or it mitigates the dynamic range of signals normally experienced in OFDM signals. So the multi-level constellations, as I referred before, we have, in case we have a 64 QAM modulation, we can decompose the 64 and 16 QAM modulation into a number of BPSK modulations. Okay, and these BPSK modulations have a certain coefficient that is multiplied. What we do is we transfer each one of these modulations into a different transmit antenna. Okay. So we have different, in our study, we have different modulations that are being considered. For example, the 16 Voronoi constellation, which has 16 coefficients, or for example, the 16 offset quadrature amplitude modulation, where we only need 4 coefficients. In this case, we only need 4 transmit antennas, while in this case, we need 16 transmit antennas. So this is the transmitter that is utilized in our scheme. The transmitter, we have a number of modulators, and this is, we have converted this 64 QAM modulation into a number of BPSK modulations, properly multiplied by a certain coefficient, okay? And by using this is the receiver. This is the receiver that is normally utilized. This is the IBDFE receiver, an iterative receiver, which works in the frequency domain. So the simulation environment, we consider SCFD signals with multi-level modulations. We consider 16 QAM, 64 QAM Voronoi constellations as a sum of n BPSK constellations. We assume that the distance between antenna elements is a fourth of the wavelength. And we assume that the channel is modeled as a frequency selective fading relay channel characterized by uniform power delay profile with 32 equal taps with uncorrelated relay fading on each tap. So the performance obtained with 16 QAM modulation is shown in this graphic, as can be seen. So this is the error, let's say the angle between the transmission angle and the location of an eavesdropper. Okay, if an eavesdropper is in the direction of the transmission, then he experiences good bit error rate, good performance. Nevertheless, in case he's not in the direction of then it experiences a degradation, which is what we want. We want to degrade the signal. When there is an offset, we want to degrade the signal. So what do we have here? For 16 Voronoi linear, we have the higher directivity. Okay, this is the best performance in terms of directivity is obtained with the 16 Voronoi linear, while the 16 QAM centered has the worst performance because it's not so directive. In case the modulation is 64 QAM, we also experience a high level of directivity with the 64 Voronoi linear, while the worst directivity is obtained with the 64 QAM centered. And as we can see from these two graphics, the 64 QAM modulations are more directive than the 16 QAM. So as we increase the modulation order, we also increase the directivity of the system, of the proposed system. So analysis of the simulation results. The impact of constellation's directivity on system's performance increases with the constellation size. This is exactly what I said. Higher directivity is assured by Voronoi constellations with the linear arrangement, increasing system spectral efficiency. Higher order modulations assures a better separation of the data streams transmitted for different users. So increasing the modulation order, we also increase the performance. So this graphic shows in black for that the eavesdropper is in the desired direction, while in blue an offset of 4 degrees. So as we can see, there is for the blue curves perform much worse than for the black curves. Moreover, the dashed lines, the linear FDE are these straight lines, the 3 dB iteration of our receiver, and the best performance is naturally achieved with the match filter bound. So what we see is that our proposed receiver, with 3 iterations, perform, which are these curves, are very close to the match filter bound. So the proposed receiver entitled IBDFE performs much better than those obtained with the linear FDE. So analysis of results, when the angular error is null for 3 iterations of our receiver entitled IBDFE, the performance is close to the match filter bound. Due to directivity errors, other users are unable to decode efficiently the transmitted data. Voronoi constellations are the best choice, as we saw. So the results show that the proposed MIMO or MISO system achieves directivity while degenerating the constellation signals in the other directions. Directivity can increase with higher spectral efficiency, so the 64 QAM performs better than the 16 QAM modulation. Constellation shaping implemented by a MISO transmission structure achieves physical layer security. This is the M. Besides the aspects already mentioned, this approach also improves the power efficiency given the decomposition of multi-level constellations into constant envelope signals. So this facilitates the use of a simplified nonlinear amplifiers. And that's it. Thank you very much for your attention.
Yes?
Excuse me. Madam Hafroz, slide 7.
Slide 7.
Yes. Can you repeat to me how we increase the throughput?
Okay, so we have let's suppose that we have two different transmit antennas. We have a symbol stream that is sent in the first transmit antenna, while the second symbol stream is sent in the second transmit antennas. Okay? And then how do we extract each one of these symbol streams? By implementing the nulling algorithm at the receiver side, we steer the receive antennas into each one of the transmit antennas. By implementing the zero forcing or the MMSE algorithm. And then, for example, we decode the first symbol stream, and then we take the received signal, we regenerate let's say we regenerate the signal, and then we subtract this regenerated signal from the received signal, and then we decode the second symbol stream. Okay, the bottleneck is that we need to have the number of receive antennas needs to be equal to or higher than the number of transmit antennas.